I wanted to find an instrumental that was like weird and different, you know, something that I could rap and sing to, you know, because I wanted it to like punch and stick out, you know, something that's like different a little bit than the sound of the rest of the album. All the instrumentals used on this album were produced by Resident Sun, who also produced Clown World, my album Clown World, and Shadow Storm. But I wanted this title track to be something different and have a different sound and feel to the rest of the album so it would really stick out. I decided to use an instrumental track created by somebody different who did all the rest of the tracks on the album. So I decided to use an instrumental made by my friend Reed, who goes by the name Rad Hatter or B Rad on SoundCloud. And so his instrumental is just so different. There's like all these different sections to it. So there's parts on the album, on the track where I could rap and parts where I could sing. And that's really what I wanted to go for, was like this real epic, and it's like 7 minutes long, the track. And I wanted to go for this real epic kind of feel to it. Rebirth and transformation and just the phoenix rising from the ashes. Sic Mundus Creatus Est. So this Latin phrase, which I got from the Netflix German language series Dark, means, and thus the world was created. And so I wanted to play around with this theme, which is pretty much the theme of the whole album, which is why I used the phrase as the title of the album, which is the apocalypse ending, but the ending is also the beginning. So death and rebirth is a huge theme in this album. So thus the world was created, but it was destroyed, and the destruction is just the creation again. We have no beginning, and we have no ending. The end is just the beginning again. The end is just the beginning again. So death, rebirth, apocalypse, ending, death, back to life. The cycle, destruction, and creation. And so, I mean, the name of my record label is Apocalyptic Rhymes Records. So this idea of apocalypse has always been part of my psyche and one of my big obsessions. But really, the term apocalypse really just means revelation, or a new insight, or a revealing and unveiling of knowledge that was hidden before. So we're remixing the apocalypse. This is it. Remixing the apocalypse, remixing the apocalypse. This is it, tantric fanatic, an eternal ring of psychics, mystics and beat poets. Come with me, we wrote this. Come with me, we wrote this. This is it, remixing the apocalypse, remixing the apocalypse. This is it, tantric fanatic, an eternal ring of psychics, mystics and beat poets. Come with me, we wrote this. Come with me, we wrote this. So really the chorus of this song gets down to the root of the whole theme of the song and the whole theme of the album. So this phrase, remixing the apocalypse, is something I've been using for the past 10 years. You know, when you use the term apocalypse, a lot of people, especially if you're under the Christian programming, you automatically think of like huge destruction and death and fireballs raining down from the sky. But remixing, I mean, everyone knows what remixing is. You know, a song, you take a song that's already there and you change it and you change up the music and, you know, chop up the lyrics and stuff to make a whole different song, you know? So really what we're doing is we have this idea of what the apocalypse is going to be, or what it is, or what is happening. And what we're doing is we're changing it through our own consciousness. We're deciding consciously to create something different, to create the new earth, to create a higher level of consciousness, to tap in and connect to the Christ consciousness grid of the planet. So that's what this means. I mean, tantric fanatic, which is a phrase that I've used also before. It was the name of a whole song on my album Odell. And really, you know, Tantra is your technique, whatever technique you use to circulate your sexual energy, to use it for higher creative purposes. An eternal ring of psychics, mystics and beat poets. Come with me, we wrote this. So really what this just means is that we're all collectively tapping into our psychic abilities, connecting to our higher selves, and unlocking these psychic spiritual abilities that were dormant or we were not aware of before. And that's what's happening globally on the planet, in our consciousness. Mystics and beat poets. So as we're unlocking these abilities within ourselves, we're attracted more to the mystical path, the mystical writings, and poetry. So as we unlock those creative forces, there's more people who are going to tap into their poetic essence. We're in the loop again, spinning, ecstatic sin within. We're dancing with the jinn, and to begin again. Inside this energy we swim, spin. When you're God, why be a king? We lift our voices and we sing to rule with one ring. Together we're all in this thing. We're all in this thing. The moment of destruction is the moment of creation. Do you need a demonstration? All one within the God's imagination. We're the fire in this ring, come with me. The endless vibration, logos with no constriction. The word dictation, all forms in elation. I'm the sum in this equation. In trance, dance all inner space. Feel the warmth of your everlasting grace. No time, no pace. Trance dance all in her space. In trance dance all inner space. Feel the warmth of your everlasting grace. No time, no pace. Trance dance all inner space. So this verse, which I really wanted to have be a singing part, so it could just like flow and, you know, have a really interesting feel to it. We're in the loop again. You know, we're all part of this cycle, this spiral. Ecstatic sin within. Even though we have this concept of sin, which is spiritual ignorance, we're still ecstatic. We're connected to this higher form of consciousness, this God, where we can feel the ecstasy of everything. And to begin again, the cycle, rebirth. You're God. And I always say this. I'm like, everyone says that they want to be a king. And I'm like, you know, like in Eminem's Rap God, he says, why be a king when you can be a God? We lift our voices and we sing. Music, singing, is one of the highest vibrations that we can use to connect to this ecstasy, this transcendental experience where we connect with everything and become one. To rule with one ring. That's obviously a reference to the Lord of the Rings. Together we're all in this thing. We're all one. The moment of destruction is the moment of creation. That just goes back to the whole concept of the end is just the beginning again. Sometimes you must destroy something, burn it into ashes and fire, so that you can rise like the phoenix into a different transformed form. Do you need a demonstration? We're all one within the God's imagination. All of creation, all of existence came out of God's imagination and is still inside God's imagination. We are a thought created by our own self. We're the fire in this ring, the Agni, the endless vibration, logos with no constriction. We are the Word made flesh, the word dictation, all forms in elation, in a higher state of emotion, love or above. I'm the sum in this equation. In trance dance, all inner space inside yourself. The inner space, the warmth of everlasting grace that descends from the higher planes of consciousness in no time, no pace. In the void, we create everything from the quantum field of infinite possibilities. In trance, we dance, all in her space, her, the goddess, the Shakti. So I liked using this little wordplay here, trance dance, all in her space, referring to the goddess, the Shakti, the risen Kundalini. And in trance dance, all inner space. So inside, the space within your own consciousness, connected to that goddess. And you feel the warmth of her grace. There's one section in the beat that gets broken down, and it's like this crazy dubsteppy, like trap rap part. And I wanted to just come up with something really that would hit, Are we grasping at straws, imagining make-believe flaws? I'll show you the claws, draw you her maw. I've already answered my call. We are God. Why do we feel so small? I scrawl out these writings in the dark, 'cause we never lose the divine spark. Creative wisdom is my hallmark, the apocalyptic rhymes monarch. If it don't work, I go berserk. Kill Hannah Montana while she twerk. What I do has many perks, feel it when I flirt. Hand up your goddess skirt, immaculate ass to make my lingam squirt. Resurrected, dug myself out the dirt. I could rule earth as a totalitarian pervert. The sun is the one who hears my concert. Stronger, I don't need no escort. But she could be my consort, my confessor. I teach the lesson, I'm a professor. Learn how to feel pressure as pleasure. Soul from the soul they can never dissever. Soul from the soul they can never dissever. My beautiful Annabelle Lee. Walking phoenix, I am Horus, sing my chorus inside the torus, formless in the clitoris forest, so polymorphous you need a thesaurus. So polymorphous you need a thesaurus. So this part I wanted to have a little bite to it, something that really had a punch to it. And so, because in this song I wanted to express all the levels of existence, all the levels of creation, all the levels within the human psyche and within God consciousness. Because within the oneness, within the all of totality of God, there's the above and there's the below. And there's the consciousness and there's also the shadow aspect. So I wanted to bring forth the beauty of all of it, of the higher forms of consciousness and the lower forms, and the shadow, and bring it all together and show the beauty of all of it together. So the first two lines, are we grasping at straws, imagining make-believe flaws? I was just thinking, I was like, well, if we are God and we're created in the image of God, we're all perfect. So it's really from us, our made-up conceptions, that we view flaws in ourselves and in others. I'll show you the claws, draw you her maw. We are God. And I say we never lose the divine spark, even when we feel like we fall and slip back into the shadow or into the lower levels of consciousness. We still have that divine spark that's drawing us up and pulling us closer into alignment with our greatest potential and our greatest purpose. There's no separation between spirituality and sexuality. And spirituality comes from our deepest energy, which is our sexual energy. Feel it when I flirt. My hand up your goddess skirt, immaculate ass to make my lingam squirt. So I just thought that was kind of a funny way, to say the goddess is sexy. And my Shiva Lingam is erect and ready to squirt for that goddess ass. The sun is the one who hears my concert. I like to use this imagery of the sun a lot because the sun represents the highest level of consciousness. You know, there's between Saturn and the sun, which also represents the octaves and the chakras moving up. And so that's also a reference to the next track in the album, which is Concert to the Sun. And so I like to leave little Easter eggs, you know, in my songs that refer to other songs or other albums. So it brings like the whole totality of the themes and the story arc, you know, all together, so that you can understand the story and the progression of what's going on through the songs and through the albums. So the whole significance of this Concert to the Sun is that, you know, the sun gives this energy to us that we can use to refuel ourselves and our bodies, our creativity, our spirituality. You know, it's my way of worship and my way of connecting with higher consciousness and to creation and the totality of the universe, and reach this ecstasy and this samadhi. Soul from the soul they can never dissever. My beautiful Annabelle Lee. I just wanted to put that in there because that's a line from an Edgar Allan Poe poem, Annabelle Lee, which is one of my favorite poems. And that is actually a reference to another song that I did on my album David, which is the bonus track on the album David called Forevermore, when I go back in time to rap battle Edgar Allan Poe. And what ends up happening is he leaves a piece of his consciousness, his soul, in my psyche, so that I'm always connected to him and have a certain piece of Edgar Allan Poe-ish creativity in my writing. So polymorphous you need a thesaurus. Grab a dictionary to figure that one out. So then we come back to the chorus again. This is it, remixing the apocalypse, remixing the apocalypse. This is it, tantric fanatic, an eternal ring of psychics, mystics and be poets. Come with me, we wrote this. Come with me, we wrote this. We're floating in an endless space of knowing, so glowing. Reap the harvest of the seeds we've been sowing. Infinity flowing. If we're learning, then we're growing. Meditate in a space beyond thought. Spirit is a melting pot. We're the pan, everything juggernaut. Psychonaut, rapturenaut, swaggernaut. That's the avatar we wrought. The avatar we sought, the avatar we got. All existence contained within one dot. Illuminate your blind spots. We're just gods talking around a teapot. We're just gods talking around a teapot. Sic Mundus Creatus Est. We have no beginning and we have no ending. The end is just the beginning. Again. The end is just the beginning. Again. Sic Mundus Creatus Est. So this last verse just brings it in a complete cycle again. Back to the theme. Back to the creation, the destruction. And we're floating in an endless space of knowing. That's a reference to the quantum field, the quantum void, where we create everything consciously into this reality. So glowing, that's our aura is shining. Reap the harvest of the seeds we've been sowing, infinity flowing. So whatever we put out there into the universe that we want to create, we get that back. That's what we create. That's what we want to bring into this reality. We're learning, we're growing. Meditate in that space beyond thought. So when you meditate and you clear your mind of all thoughts, We can know things by intuition, just beyond thought. Just know it. We're the pan-everything juggernaut. That's another reference to another song in the album, the pan-everything combination. So that's the whole thing about pan, which means all-inclusive, means everything, all one. So that's the whole thing. We are an individual, but we are also the entire universe, all of creation, all God, all one. Psychonaut, Rapturenaut, Swaggernaut. Rapturenaut, that's another song on the album. And Swaggernaut, I wanted to bring that in there because that's actually the title of the instrumental track that Reed gave me for this song, Swaggernaut. So I thought that would be an interesting, I wanted to put that in there. That's the avatar we wrought, the avatar we sought, and the avatar we got. And that's definitely a reference to, because my spiritual name is Avtar Simrit Singh. And so Avtar, an avatar, but technically we're all avatars. Avatars of God, of your higher consciousness. So the avatar that we wrought, that we created in this life, in this time and space coordinates, it's that incarnation of God that we needed for this exact space and time. Now all existence contained within one dot. Everything. All one. We're just gods talking around a teapot. We have no beginning and we have no ending. Sic Mundus Creatus Est. Thanks for watching. I am MC Pan. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Like this video, leave a comment. Subscribe to my channel, MC Pan. You can download the new album Sic Mundus Creatus Est from all the digital platforms, iTunes, Amazon. You can find it on Spotify, Pandora, CD Baby. The link will be in the description. So support my music, support this channel if you like what you hear, and there will be more content to come. I just released a new single, Anti-Swag. You can find that on all the digital platforms for download, and my Bandcamp for streaming. Get your MC Pan apparel on Teespring. The link will be down below in the description. Satnam, Neo Natives. I love you.